I won't be talking for, well, I'll be talking in a bit. I'm putting up all the links on stuff. And I'm not doing cam today because it made me too nervous last time. I'd like to when I do just talking stuff in the future, but I gotta get I had like a nervous tick last time. I could tell when I like listened back. I was like, holy hell. And that doesn't happen when I don't show my face. So anyway, give me a second. Gotta go up. So then we'll get ready. Okay. I think that's everything. I think that link is posted as many places as it's gonna be. That I can think of that where people care. I don't think I need to post it on like Profinity or anything. We will see. Everyone, I fucking didn't update my stream shit beforehand, so everyone got like the wrong notification in their email. So that's exciting. I think I did that last time too. So what a thrill! All right, let's see what I got. Let me get some art up, which I'll probably like barely touch, but it's something. Okay. All right. Which one is the right one? This one? Yes, it is. You see my little banner? Wow. Because today is a terrible day. Everyone knows. Uh, call your representatives. I'm getting really mad at my representatives because they've made it really hard to um, contact them. They have removed the comment line after hours, which is just fucking infuriating. And then during the daytime, I cannot. No one ever picks up. So I have basically been. I'm like. I don't think it's like me in particular, but I think people in my state have like cannot get in contact with like our reps right now because like you can't get through on the phone line, which like I guess is good because it means they're getting a lot of calls. I would assume. I hope that's what it means. But it's absolutely fucking infuriating, and I'm not happy because it's supposed to be like our primary way to contact these people. So, yeah, if you've got time today, not even if you have time today, make time today to go to fivecalls.org and put in your zip code and find who your reps are who can help you and demand that they abolish ICE. Go ahead. It's awesome. You're gonna feel fucking way better after you do it. Once you make those calls, you're gonna feel way better. Um, because it's your fucking right to do that. It's also the least you can do. Uh, yeah. Not to be a little aggro about it, but to be a little aggro about it. I don't know. It's a weird day. It's a weird day to have this stream. It's a weird time to have this stream because I'd planned this stream before someone was quite mean. This there was someone on Blue Sky who like really they like made fun of me in a way that like really fucking it hurt. And I had a really bad weekend when that happened. And that was the reason I shut down. I had a little like Transhet ideas like thread that I was updating just like for fun for people to just like talk to me about or use or whatever they wanted to do. And like I'll talk about this more later, but yeah, basically like it was another trans person like quote retweeted it and like they were just taking the piss out of me in a way that I think they thought it was like cute. And for me it was just like, ow, that really fucking hurts. I think I've probably talked to some people in this chat about some of that, about like what I was like dealing with. And yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Things have been like it's so tough because it's just like I wish it was a time where like this is so fucking not the time to be like, you know what I'm gonna do today? It's like I'm gonna cause like drama in the trans community. I just like I wish that was not on people's mind. Um, to do. But I think it's just a crazy time. People just aren't thinking a lot too. They don't think about like the consequence of like that action. They sort of see like a thread that's like, oh, it's all horny ideas, so I can like say whatever I want, you know? And it's like, yeah, like I there were a lot of like, quote retweets where people were talking about their OCs and other stuff and getting a little wild and like that's fine. Like that's actually not an issue for me. Like, because that's sort of the purpose of the thread is to like have some fun and go crazy with it. Um, but this person was like specifically jabbing at me, and it was like very much a fantasy that like was about like relieving bottom dysphoria. And I have not publicly said how this person made fun of me, but I believe I will later because um it's if I made like a post about it, it would just go the post would it would I don't want to think about how people would react to the post. So I think that it would be better uh talked about in the video where it doesn't sort of like break containment as easily. Does that make sense? I think ads might be playing soon. So I'm going to like start more I'm going to change my shirt is what I'm going to do because it is hot in here. Hold on. The closest shirt had Badam Cell on it. So I'm wearing that and they will give me strength. Um, It's like the one post where people go into ideas threads, recipes, complaining that they didn't make something completely different. Like these ideas are for those who want it. If you don't want it, then it's not meant for you. Yeah, in a way, like I don't mind when people want to take something and like twist it a little bit, where they're like, "Ooh, here's this idea, and we'll twist it a little bit." That's like not really an issue for me, especially if the person is not like complaining about it, right? Uh, but I think, as we'll see later, this person was not complaining about it. They were making fun of my desires. And it's already extremely difficult for me to be like visibly trans online. It's like probably one of the hardest things I've ever fucking done and continues to be like really fucking difficult. I think any like trans person with any kind of platform, I think could probably say that unless they're incredibly blessed with like the nicest community in the world. Um so yeah, I think it's really tough when I've been trying to put myself out there more and to get some of the reactions I've gotten. And I'm gonna start on like my proper like bullet points here in a second once it says that ads have stopped. Because I don't want people to miss the beginning because I have some bullet points. So we'll go over those and hopefully we can get onto some positive stuff, but don't be surprised if some parts are like a downer. Is everyone back? Is everyone back? Are you guys back? Huh? Are you back from ads? Probably. Probably. What if you're just not? That would be a thrill as well. Okay. Um, let's look at my list. So, okay, my first point is why am I doing this stream? Like, why did I feel the need to come onto a stream and talk about like why I like Transhet, like why I'm making it, etc. And that is because I have gotten that question more times than I would like. There have been I haven't gotten this question like why are you making XYZ thing in a long time. Like I remember way back in the day when it was like considered like oh my god, it's so crazy. Like you're making yaoi. You're making yaoi. That's so crazy. Like I used to get asked that question a lot. Like why are you making yaoi? Like why is it two dudes? Right? And then like for a long time those kinds of questions just seemed to disappear, which was awesome. That was great. I loved that. And I just thought I guess people are over it. They just stopped needing to know. And that's great. I loved it. It was awesome to like not be questioned on why I was like pairing up particular characters. Um, you did not get the time wrong. I started 20 minutes late. Anyway, so yeah, like back when I started doing like guy stuff, I started doing like Yaoi MLM, whatever you want to call it. I would get a lot of questions that were like, why are you doing two guys? Why is it Yaoi? And it was weird to me that people were like so invested in the why, and then it went away, like I said, and that was great. So I thought, okay, like we're just sort of past it. Like we're cool now, right? Things are cool. But then when I started doing Transhead, I started getting people asking, why are you doing Transhead? And I was honestly astonished. I was fucking shocked because some of these people were in their 30s too. If you're like 19, whatever, you're stupid. I'm gonna give you some fucking leeway. You're dumb. I'm sorry. Any 19-year-olds in the chat, you're dumb. I'm saying it as someone who is a dumb 19-year-old. It just is. People just are lacking like, and some people are asking from like a genuine place, but that's really difficult to tell online. Like you get a lot of times when you're an artist online, you get asked these questions. You're sort of like a video game style sort of like choice meter comes up in front of your face that says like, is this person being genuine or are they trying to set you up? And you're sort of tasked with trying to figure out like, are they about to screenshot me and make like a fucking post that's like just telling me I'm like the worst person on the planet for doing this, or are they just genuinely curious like what's going on in my mind, right? And that is can be almost impossible to tell, right? And I remember I got one of these questions, the "Why are you drawing Transhet?" question on Blue Sky once, where someone was like, "I just don't get it. Why you're drawing Transhet? Because it's so limiting." That's what they told me. They said, "You're limiting yourself. You are limiting yourself with Transhet." And this was so disheartening. It was so disheartening to be told that the thing that was like really affirming me, something that included like a trans character, was somehow like limiting in a way. And I've thought about what this person said, and they never replied to me when I said like, "Hey, are you like genuinely curious, or are you upset with me?" I asked them straight out. I was like, "You need to tell me like your intention right now, because this is like, it sounds hostile, right?" And they never replied. I think it's because like a transhet novelist like came in and she like had my back and she was like, "Why is it weird? Huh? Why is it weird that DCS wants to do transhet?" And like, God, she was so, I wish I could remember her username, but she was such a real one in that moment. I was like, "Oh, she's got my back." Um, but yeah, this person like never replied, so I can never really know like what was going through like their head. But in my mind, I think what they thought trans het stuff, what I think what they thought it meant is that I'm only drawing straight characters, which is not what in the het means in my mind. Like the het in trans het for me just means like hetero, which is I think more generally just sort of two characters of different genders, which is why when I did the trans het jam, I didn't want it to be limiting because some people do like some people are like, let's say they're in a couple that's like a guy and like a non-binary person, like they consider themselves het still because it's two different genders. And so I think it's really important to keep in mind that like het and hetero often means something different to people than straight does. And so try to keep that in mind when I'm talking about stuff. Like when we're talking about straight, we're talking about sort of like the heteronormative, like straight cis het like people. See, and I'm saying het there too, right? This stuff gets very complicated. Like we're figuring it out. This is like a really new sort of like thing. And so it's tough for me that people are not like willing to give me that like the sort of flexibility or like a genuine like curiousness that I've seen other people do before. Um Yeah, and so oh yeah, because the other thing the person said, prepare for this, just sit in your little seat, because they said, "Why are you drawing trans hit? It's so limiting because most of the trans guys I know are gay or pan," right? That was their reasoning for why I was limiting myself was quote because most trans guys are gay. And so that was extremely generalizing, but also pansexual includes women. It includes women. Being pansexual by definition, right? Like it includes like it can include like anyone, right? Like that does not do woo. Like it's ooh, it was really, oh lord, hold on. Let me fucking I like just I have a bad memory, so it can be hard to like recall things. So I try not to do too much like verbatim if I can. But that I remember. I do remember it being like it's so limiting because so many trans guys are gay. So like why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to them? I'm not doing shit, man. But also, I've talked to a lot of trans mask people lately who are like, I would pursue women more uh, if like I felt more confident about it, right? Um, and it's like, and that's tough because I think I feel very like similarly, where like I used to have this idea that it was like because it was all I ever saw was like gay like trans porn, right? Which is fine and good, but it is I've seen the numbers. I hate to be like I've seen the numbers, but I have. Um that the overwhelming amount of porn with trans guys in it is gay trans porn, which is like it's interesting that this is it's the one kind of porn that has like it's like gay is like the majority. It's very interesting to me, right? And like I think that's very cool. And there's nothing again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think some people are gonna listen to me like talk about like guy girl stuff, hetero stuff, and they're gonna do the fucking oh, you like pancakes, so you must hate waffles thing. But I urge you, please do not do that. please do not do the fucking if you like pancakes you must hate waffles thing, because that is not like how human beings work. And until I tell you I hate something, you should never assume that I hate something. Uh because boy howdy, have a lot of people been doing that to me as well. Uh so yeah, I like got so fed up with this comment that wanted to I just realized I haven't been recording the last like whatever how many minutes of this. So hopefully Twitch doesn't fucking try to kill it because I dared to say the word porn. um Thank you everyone in the chat, by the way. I've been trying to read all that you've said. I've just sort of been on my own thing as well for this because I've had a lot of thoughts and feelings, and it's like I said, they don't necessarily belong like in a comment thread on Blue Sky. I think this is a much better way for people to hear my thoughts because a lot of people, again, you can't really tell intention from like text, and people love to take like a text post and go crazy with it. They love to just sort of like drag it in the fucking like mud, and thankfully, like, don't get it twisted. Like there is no hate campaign against me. Like that is not what's happening. There's not people like in the fucking streets like rioting my art. Like this is not that is not the situation. The situation is that I found something that really affirmed me, transhet art, and I wanted to make more of that. And some people they're not there for it, and that's fine. Some people are just sort of silently like bye, and that's fine. But there are a lot of louder people who have told me, like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm not interested in this. Like, could you not do this? Could you do this or that? Could you make it like this instead? Um, and I haven't dealt with that in a really long time. Because I guess I had like I think my audience was way less bisexual than I thought. To be frank. I was really under the impression I was like, it's me and the bisexuals, right? And like, the pans, like basically people like um I thought a lot more people that followed me were like into a wider range of stuff. Uh yeah. So yeah, I just got so fed up with it all that I was like, I would just talk about it on stream. I'm just gonna fucking talk about it on stream because it's driving me crazy. And like, you guys want to know why? Like, if these people want to know why so fucking bad, like, here it is. Like, here's all my whys and all my fucking thoughts, and like, you just take them all and chew them the fuck up and do whatever the fuck you want because it's getting ridiculous. And it just happens so often, and it's just like it's endlessly frustrating, especially when I have tried very hard to be like, okay, you know, I'm making Transhet, and I don't have any plans for any trans gay work right now. I just don't. Um, that's just how it goes sometimes. And I thought, well, this is a great time to then tell people about other trans work. Like, and the reason I even started those Ichio collections of all the different like trans stories is because I had people tell me no one's making trans stories, you guys. No one's making it. And they told me no one's making trans gay stuff. And I thought, are you fucking kidding me? Because again, I have the statistics. And let's not this is not to say, oh my god, trans porn is everywhere, you guys. Like it's trans romance, all of it is it's flooding the fucking streets. That not no. That is not how it is. But when we look at sort of trans media as a whole, like what we do have, right? First of all, people are very much making it and they're trying hard as fuck to be seen, and people are not giving them the love that they deserve. Um and but overwhelmingly the statistic is gotta be like I wish I had a pie chart for this because it is quite skewed to gay stuff, as I've said before, which is cool. Like I think it's kind of the one thing that tends to be like more queer than other types of romances in porn. And that goes this it's the same for trans women as well, actually. Like they're more often paired up with other women than they are with men, which is like, you know, to the dismay of trans gals who like guys, but that's not my sort of wheelhouse to be speaking on. I'm gonna let like trans women speak on their own sort of thoughts on that because boy howdy, do they have to deal with way more than I fucking do. Good Christ! Shout out to all the trans gals online because holy hell, I cannot even imagine. Um, Yeah, so I just got fed up with it. It was just really hard to be asked like over and over again, like, why are you making Transhet? Why are you doing it? Like, why are you making this story? And I really wish like those folks would like take a minute to sort of like really soak in like that question. Like, would you ask that of other? I wonder if they would ask it to people who were making trans gay stories if they were making stories with like a trans guy and another guy, trans or cis. Like I really wonder like they must, right? Like they must. I don't know because I just don't know, right? I haven't heard any like antidote, but I do know that a lot of the trans het people I talk to have gotten the question, "Why are you making trans het?" Oh, ad break. Thank you. All right, I'll hold on before I go to. I need to go to my next point. So my heroes, my little ad watching heroes. Oh Lord. Ah. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Forgot I had the gummy and the doctor ones on. They're cute. Like it said, there's still 30 seconds for ads. It's it helps me catch my fucking breath because I get too heated. Uh, 6 seconds. 6 seconds they claim. Yeah. Okay, everyone should be back now. So let's see. Next point. So yeah, why I'm doing the stream summary. People just would not stop fucking asking. They wouldn't stop fucking asking. I get it. I still get it all the time. Like, why are you making trans hat now? Why are you making trans hat? Why are you? People ask too, like, why is it a trans guy and stuff? And it's like, why do you fucking think? Use your brain. Could it possibly be just because it like makes me feel good? Come on. Yeah. So that's why I'm doing it because I'm very annoyed. Um, out of all of it, just call me DCS. I like DCS. It's fine. You can also say Chibi if you want. That's also fine. Um, so, okay, let's go into it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Thanks for the hype train, guys, with Twitch shit or whatever. Thank you. um, my God. So okay, why do I like Transhet, right? Like aside from just like it makes me feel good, like it's cool and exciting. Like so let's get really fucking personal, okay? And like this sucks. I actually hate doing this. Like it sucks to feel like I have to fucking like actually lay it all out on the table for people to like accept it. You know? Um that sucks. Especially cuz I think the people who are like the most sort of like feeling I don't really know how they're feeling about my work actually. Like, are they feeling annoyed? Are they feeling antagonistic? Are they like disappointed? Oh, people are definitely actually disappointed. That one I can confirm because they have told me how disappointed they are. And that really hurts. Uh, like first of all it makes me like feel affirmed, like I'm a trans masculine person who's like I'm very much like into women. Like people make all these assumptions about like my sexuality, about like my like life and things that I look at and stuff, but like they don't you don't know me based on like Salancia. Like you don't know me based on like Gummy and the Doctor. Like you can't know me. And maybe you shouldn't as well, right? Like maybe I will disappoint you. Maybe I will upset you. Maybe like you fucking hate the way that I like movies, because I have fucking had conversations be dropped in person because I told someone I didn't watch anime. Okay? Like this is how it's a fucking minefield. Um and it's tough for me that it can't just be like, hey, you like it and that's cool, and that they can't just sort of like assume that it just makes me happy and that's enough. Like I just wish that that was enough. Like you can assume all the other things you want, but like it would just be great if it was just enough that I was enjoying it and making like interesting shit. Because I think I'm making some pretty great stuff at the moment. I think it's some of my best. Um but at the end of the day, I'm a trans masculine person on the dude spectrum who's like into women, and I there was so few depictions of trans masculine people with women on the internet that there was a long time that I didn't even think that was like a possibility for myself, right? And that's really hard because in your mind that any pair up is possible, right? But this is why like erotica, romance, like porn and stuff has like a very important part in people's psyche that I think people don't want to always grapple with, is that when you can see yourself as an object of desire, that is very empowering. Like, and that can be really affirming, right? And I love women. I like women and femmes. I think they're really great. I get along with them great. I'm romantically attracted to them. Um my partner was femme. Now they're like non-binary, which is fine. I just love my partner. I am queer after all. Like, yes, I like women a lot, but I am queer. So like it goes beyond women. Women are just my favorite. Um and I really just I like them. Like I don't know. Like it's tough to have to like feel like I need to justify that some way and like break it down when I don't always feel like other people like need to do that. But that's just like my feeling, right? Like it's just because I'm feeling that doesn't mean that other people haven't been put on like that in that spot before, you know? Um, where was I going? Oh, and like you know, with Transhet, I think it's very cool that the trans mask person in question is having their masculinity affirmed by a lady, by like a woman. Like his masculinity is being affirmed by like a woman. Like she sees him as like a man totally and utterly. And that's like awesome for me. That is so fucking good for me because I don't see, and here's where I may disappoint you. I don't value like the gaze of other trans mask people as much as I value like the gaze of women. The gays, no, like the views, like it's and like don't take that as me not valuing them, but it's one of those things where it's like you're attracted to a certain kind of person, so you're like you're kind of thinking about them like in your head, right? And I think a lot of trans men who are attracted to men feel the same way as much as I've seen, right? Where a lot of trans men feel really affirmed when another man is seeing them as a man, right? So it's like a man to man like affirmation, which is great. I just don't get that feeling from other men. Like that does not like it's cool. I have a lot of like like male friends who like totally affirm me and it's great, but it's different. It's not like a sexual affirmation and like a romantic one, which I think is a fine thing to want to pursue. I think that we are kidding ourselves if we say like, guys, it doesn't matter. Like wanting to be desired doesn't matter. Just like let it go. But that's not necessary. That's a really big thing to ask somebody. And if that's something that they want to do, if they just want to like not have sex like in their life, great. But that is not like the right choice for everyone. Does that make sense? Like if you want to feel like affirmed by people that you're attracted to, I think that's a fine thing to feel and probably quite normal. And I think that's another thing that's been really tough for me is I thought a lot of my feelings were super mundane. I thought a lot of my feelings about like my dysphoria, my gender, like things I'm attracted to, etc. I thought those were really like boring. I thought they were really mundane and sort of run of the mill. And I have found out that some of those thoughts can really upset people, even when I think they're not that big of a deal. When I have expressed that I've had bottom dysphoria, that has upset people, which I did not expect. Um, and it's been kind of crazy. And yeah, the sort of the I mean, I think it all just goes to show that like trans people are not a monolith, right? Which like duh. But I think, we're really seeing it sort of like in action here where like the range of reactions I've gotten has just been so vast that it's like, okay, like there really is no pleasing everyone, which is tough because I want the people to be pleased. Like it doesn't make me happy when someone's like, "Oh, I used to love your work so much, but now that it's Transhet, like I'm really out of it, and like I just wish you were making like gay trans stuff because it would affirm me so much." Not that anyone said that like in that's not like verbatim, but that's kind of the vibe, and people have said that in like bits and pieces to me, and so when I try to find them like other artists to like sort of latch onto, like I don't see them like giving those people the same kind of love in the same way that they're like complaining to me, which is very frustrating because if I've already done the work to make you a convenient list, the least you can do is go and fucking find people that like make you feel cool because like there are going to be a lot of people that are making stuff that you want to see. If you want to see trans gay stuff, boy howdy, do I have some stuff to recommend to you because there are some really great things with all sorts of stuff. And like, no, it doesn't fucking it's not gonna have every specific kink in the world because like, first of all, making adult content online right now is more difficult than it's ever fucking been. But also like trans people are routinely like censored more than other people. And that's why it's so important that if you want to see the stuff, you need to go support it, right? You need to be commenting and sharing and doing that stuff and like making the fucking effort because it's got to be like a team sport, you know? I could very easily just be like, you know what? I'm only interested in Transhet and I won't even talk about all those other fucking people. I could very easily do that, but I'm not going to because these people are like my trans siblings and they deserve like every annoyed person that I have could be someone that loves their work. And I can't let that go. As fucking annoyed as I am with people, like, no, I'm not gonna fucking it's not gonna become a me versus them shit. It's fucking not. I will not like I refuse to get mad at people who are making like a different kind of trans porn. But I will get mad at the people who are complaining to me that I'm making a certain one because it's fucking bullshit. And you should be so you're not following like Nero, you're not fucking like, like reading like Arcade Alex or something. You're not fucking like reading all these great like you're not reading Shot and Chaser. Fuck you. Like it's really like ugh. Like every time someone complains, like they should be instead using that time and that comment to be boosting somebody else. In my opinion. Actually, it shouldn't even be an opinion. That's a fact. All right. So yeah, well, to summarize on that one, I like Transhet because it makes me feel super affirmed in my masculinity. It's very cool to be like wanted and desired by like women, and it's a way that I'm working out like a bunch of my dysphoria. I just am. Like art is a great way to come to like safely work through like a lot of those things, right? And I think that's where it starts to get really personal is when I'm working through something with my art, it extra hurts when someone has something like to complain about or to tell me that they think it's dumb because it's like vulnerable on a whole other fucking level. On a level that I've like never experienced before with other stuff. Like it's so holy shit, it hurts. It's tough. It's not easy. Um And yeah, I like it, I like it. It makes me feel affirmed. It's cool. I feel like I have really great like ideas. There's some really cool stuff to like be explored in terms of like, you've got like sexy times, but then you've got some like gender stuff on top of it that you can sort of deal with, which is cool. and I like that. And I feel like I'm super fucking invigorated by all of the ideas that I have. I feel like I'm just coming up with a bunch of great shit, and I feel like it's a bunch of stuff that I've like not been able to like express before, and now I can, and it's very freeing. Hi, Canary. All right, what's my next point? My next point was why I started drawing more Transhet, but I think that kind of like was sort of, I think I spoke a bit about that like with these last things where it's like, I found it, I saw it, I felt affirmed. It was super great to work on like Good Pup, and I was like, I'd like another. And then I was like working on like three at once, and I was like, these are all fucking great. They're cool. And then I just want that good feeling again. I just want to continue to fucking have a good time with my work and feel like I'm making things that I really give a fuck about. Not that I give a fuck about everything else too, but like, that's my like philosophy on stuff is like I gotta give a fuck about it and then I'm gonna work on it. So I can't just like lie to people and be like, yeah, yeah, I have like a trans gay thing coming. Yeah, oh no, just wait. Just like wait actually and it'll come. I can't lie to people. I don't have one like on the it's not on the line right now. And like like Gummy and the Doctor is like T for T, and that counts enough for some people because some people really can't get it in their mind that Gummy's gender fluid. So for them, it's gonna be Yowie forever. And you know what? I'm kind of done correcting them. Like I've had people come up to me at cons and be like, "Gummy the Doctor's my favorite Yowie," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure, like totally, yeah, definitely." I know some people use it as a more like general term, like gay or something, but to me, I think it's hard to like disconnect it from meaning like two guys, you know? And Gummy the Doctor is just not technically it's not technically two guys. Like there are moments where it's two guys because Gummy is gender fluid, but you know, not it's not what I would not classify it under that. I'm gonna get some water while we're on ads. Everyone's back. Okay. Um. Yeah. So I started drawing. I drew it more because I love it. It makes me feel good. It's great. You know, I love it. I wish that was enough for people, but as that one person said, I'm apparently limiting myself because too many trans guys are gay. And heaven forbid, by the way, that a gay person looks at something head. This is also something I've been discovering. Is that a lot of gay people who follow me are very much unwilling to engage with anything that doesn't fit in a very sort of specific genre. I have always read like sort of anything that like compelled me, so the gender pairing wasn't necessarily like um what I was looking for. I ended up reading a lot of yaoi because I wanted a lot of porn. I actually also read a lot of hentai. People like don't like ever assume that about me for some reason. Like I've had people at conventions be like, "Oh, you're so good. You're one of the good ones because you're not like those hentai artists, And I'm like, "What do you mean not like the hentai artists? Like I like those guys." Like they're not my enemy, you know. And there's a lot of hentai is bad, but a lot of stuff in the porn industry is bad, like in general, and like the porn industry's loudest critics are often the people working from inside it. Like, we know, guys, there's problems. We're working on it, but like I don't think it's productive for me to like pick your fucking battles here. Like the dude drawing like the big titty anime girl is like probably not the person you know, that's making this a fucking problem for us. It's corporations, it's payment processors, it's the government, it's fucking like Christian fascists who are like trying to fucking take us down, like and maybe the big titty anime guy is one of those, but until we know that, he's just drawing big titties. Kind of not the problem. But yeah, I found I was really sort of when I got made fun of, which I will again, I'll talk about that in the next section. And I made all those posts like this last weekend about how like disappointed I was, about how I mean, I don't know if I said I was disappointed, but I did say I was feeling guilty because I was at the time because people really seemed in need of stuff that I could not give them, and it was hard to like be asked for that. And in the middle of all of that, by the way, someone asked me for something. They were like, everyone was being so kind and supportive to me, and this person was like, "Is it bad? I just really want to see like porn where the guy doesn't have top surgery." And it's like, "No, it's not bad that you want to see that, but like why are you putting that on like my work? Like, are you expecting me to do that? Are you seeing sort of like, are you wanting like affirmations for that? Like, what is the purpose of like your comment? Right. And I struggle with that a lot online where it's like, what is sort of the purpose of like why this person is communicating with me? Like, I understand what they're saying, but like, what do they want from me? What action do you want from me now that you have said that? Are you secretly asking me to draw a dude with his chest? Are you asking me for recommendations? Are you complaining that I haven't done it? What is the are you just looking for like an affirmation from another trans person? Like, what is the purpose of this communication? That person never replied to me, by the way. I made like a full list for them of folks and asked people, and I was very pleasantly surprised that when I asked people for recommendations, they were able to give this person recommendations. Thank you all to people who did that. I really appreciated it. And but they never replied. I notice a lot of people when they complain and I say, "Well, how can I fix this?" or "Here's something to fix this," they don't reply. So what the fuck am I doing? But yeah, that hurt. It sucks. And the other thing that I found out during all of that, and thank you again to everyone who talked to me during that time. I really appreciate it. Some people's comments were like really sort of a light in the darkness for me in that moment because I think I my anxiety sort of swept me away on stuff where it was like, these comments and this, idea that I'm letting people down was sort of like the, beginning of like the avalanche for like everything that's just been happening in the world. My anxiety just, as anxiety does, it sort of just snowballs. It just sort of katamari's its way into more shit, you know. And that was tough, but I found out through a lot of those comments that a lot of people following me don't engage in my work at all, so they don't read it, and also they have no plans of reading it ever, and that was hard to deal with. And that's where I sort of discovered like, oh, there are more people than I thought who are only invested in reading a certain kind of porn and like will not ever sort of get out of that lane. And like I think to some people it's just a personal preference, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, don't make this a pancake and waffle situation. Not what I'm fucking saying. Um it's fine to fucking to do that, though I question why people are following me if that is how they're feeling, like, cuz I post quite a bit. So I'm like, are you just sort of like gritting your teeth and bearing with it cuz like this problem, quote unquote, like, Transhet's only going to get like um dash don't um uh, yeah, what Dash is talking about here, Rabby Skittles, or no, sorry, Seb, is yeah, someone did tell me like, "Oh, it's good to get uncomfortable every once in a while. It's good for personal growth." And I had to tell this person, who's very kind, by the way, and I have a great webcomic. If you're in here, hi. That I was like, I see trans porn that makes me uncomfortable and dysphoric all the time. So I've got that on lock. Don't worry. Like in terms of sort of feeling uncomfortable and bad and dysphoric, I got it. It's happening all the time. That's why Transhet was such a fucking like revelation for me, is because it like was some of the first like trans porn that didn't make me feel super dysphoric and fucked up. Um, and that's not the fault of anyone's work. That's my own personal shit that I'm dealing with. And that is something that I push through to like try to uplift other people, you know because when I'm making some of those lists, like the truth is, some of that work makes me feel very dysphoric looking at it, but it's worth it to uplift people. And I think that's what I had said in my post, and that's why that person responded to me, because I was like, "Oh, it's really hard to make the list about trans guys like with their boobs or who are like hyper femme. Like that was hard for me to make." And they were like, "Oh, it's good to feel uncomfortable every once in a while, though. It's good for your personal growth." And I was like, "Yeah, don't worry. I'm feeling dysphoric all the time. A bunch of shit I look at makes me feel like actually really fucking bad. So don't worry, I got that on lock." Anyway, God, what was I saying before this? That was such a tangent. Fuck no, because I'm not. It's not a call out like fucking stream for anyone. I'm just sort of speaking on like my thoughts and feelings and reactions and stuff. Um, Oh, yeah, no, people following me who don't fucking they don't care at all. I do question why they're following me. Are they looking for like more lists? Are they looking for recommendations and stuff? Because like those eventually might taper off. Like they're not. I don't know if it's something I'm going to continue to do forever. But I will continue to make my own work forever, and I want. Uh, and I don't know. I think I don't know if it's too much to ask that I would really like people to like give my work a chance, but it seems that some people just they don't. It's too much. It's too much. Like, and maybe they're dealing with their own stuff. Like maybe they're dealing like with like maybe it makes them feel dysphoric, and that's okay. I don't know. You know. Um, yeah, it's kind of crazy to me because I just think that I think more people would like it if they gave it a shot than dislike it, but that's not my call to make. Uh, and it just it makes me sad though. It does make me sad where it's like people who are like they're cool, like they draw cool stuff, they have great stories and everything, and they're just like no. I'm like okay. And like it's yeah, it's kind of wild. It is kind of wild because I had a lot of people in my responses being like, "Well, I'm gay, but like I really support what you do." And it's like, "Thanks." Like I don't know why you being gay would sort of exclude you from reading a story because it's fiction, but cool. Very cool. It sucks a lot of people only fall for very specific types of art and not any of the stories, not even comics. Yes, this has happened to me where I've had a lot of people who are just like, I just like your art style. And I'm like, most of my art style's in a comic, right? Yeah, I'm not the only one that this happens to, where people just sort of follow you randomly and they're just like, "Oh, I'm just like it's whatever," and they like have no plans to ever read your stuff, and like it happens. It happens, and that's like not that big of a deal. I think it was a big deal for me because again, a lot of the people who sort of revealed this stuff for me is um it's they were sort of like my contemporaries, right? They were like my peers. Like they were making like other comics and sometimes comics that are recommended and stuff, and that was a little crazy. But I have no hate for them. Again, do not get it twisted. That there is no hate campaign to me or them. We're just talking about the stuff. We're talking about the feelings. This stuff is messy. A lot of people who said this stuff to me have like no ill intent. There are like very few people who have really come into the circle with like bad faith. Though it does happen, I do think that the person who was like, "You're limiting yourself," because most trans dudes are gay. I think that was very bad faith. I think that was very bad faith about like trans dudes as well, like sort of bordering on like oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Like not profiling, it's bordering on stereotyping like a whole like, segment of the uh community, which I thought was really not nice. I thought that was like it was shitty of that person to say that. It was. Um and you know, fuck them, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know. Like that one really sort of it has gone nowhere, but it's yeah. Um, so my next point to talk about is sort of the fallout of the sort of the consequence of me making Transhet. Like, what does that look like? And we've talked about this, through this. You've seen me. I can like barely contain myself talking about like what people have said because it sticks with me more than I'd like. I'm still working on that stuff because it's not good to just be like, "Oh god, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the comments," like it's not great. I can admit that, and I'm working on it. And in a lot of ways I'm better than I used to be when I was like younger. But it's something I'm still dealing with. I'm still sort of like maturing, because I think it just kind of it takes a while. I think it's not that easy because it's a lot of people, it's a lot of stimulation. My job is online, everything like that. Like I don't think it's unusual that I think about these comments a lot and I sort of take them in because of the nature of my job. I think this happens to other people too. Um, and so when I started doing Transhet, a lot of my like old heads they were so fucking in it. And you guys know who you are. You guys know who you fucking are, the old heads. Like a lot of my patrons were cool because they're like the best. Honestly, I think my patrons like are some of the most like ride or die with me people. I really love it. And then there are just some people who are like, um, yeah, they're just down to clown with whatever, and that's kind of I vibe with that because that's what I'm into, right? I'm just like whatever is like a good and compelling like couple. I'm interested in. It doesn't mean that I always want like every type of like porn ever because I've talked about some like does make me feel like dysphoric, but like, if we're talking just like a romance story, I will read anything. And I'm like, it just it's got to compel me. I want to feel good about it. Ads are going to start soon, but um, so I had a lot of people who've been really great. I've had a lot of people who really have said like my stuff is like affirming to them, or it's so like it's really opened their eyes, or like they're just really enjoying it. And I think that is such a great honor to have, and I really try not to take that for granted, and I really try to remember those folks. I had some people who like came out and told me some really like personal stuff during this time that was really it was really nice to hear. And it's part of why I've chosen to be like more open and vulnerable about trans stuff online is because when I hear stories like that from other people, it makes me feel better too. It's like a part of my own healing to hear other people's like thoughts and experiences and other stuff about this topic. It is just it's a net good to be able to share mine and have someone share that back with me. I think that's what like has kept me going for a lot of this. Um, and yeah, it's good. It's like humbling in a really good way. It's a good reminder that I'm like not alone because I felt like very alone um with a lot of this stuff like more recently because um it's not super popular to make trans head stuff. It's just like it's not like around. It's not like a thing. you know, like it's I think it's growing. I think there are more people who are like interested in kind of opening their eyes and stuff, and I think a lot of people are being like flexible and cool. Um and oh god, what am I saying? I'm losing my train of thought again. Yeah, I just I appreciate what people have shared with me. Like the positive stuff has been really great, and I want to hold on to that really bad. Um, and it can be tough to it can just be tough when sometimes it feels like some of the other stuff is like so loud and like more demanding, I would say. Like some of the disappointment is more demanding than some of the nice stuff, right? And I think that might just be the nature of a complaint versus a compliment. you know? Um but I think, when I started going to conventions with my Transhet stuff and I would see the disappointed looks on people's faces when I told them that it was Transhet, that started to really get me down. It started to really, it was sad, you know, because it was like I don't have what that person wants in this moment, you know. And I wouldn't even call it negative. It's just it's the disappointment. It makes me feel guilty that like I'm somehow like not queer or trans enough to sort of make this person interested, and it's not my job to. And like, people have preferences. They're just it is, right? But that's why I started carrying around cards of other artists at conventions to give away, so that when someone was disappointed that I didn't have what they wanted exactly, I could give them a card for someone that has that, uh, you know, and that's helped for sure, But I think it's always going to be difficult to see like the face of like another trans person when I'm like, yeah, I got like my trans head stuff, and they're like, oh, I really wish it was gay, and it's just like, that feels bad. It does. It does. It's sort of it's sad and it's really sort of lonely as well. Um so that's just going to have to be something I contend with for a while, I think. And yeah, you know. Uh what else do I have? What's on the docket? Let's think. Let's thinking. So the flip side of all like the positive stuff is the stuff that has been more, let's say like in bad faith, because I don't think I get like I haven't really gotten like overly like aggressive comments. I have gotten transphobic comments before, but those are just like, I get homophobic comments too. Like the sort of stuff that's just like bigotry. I don't even like count that as like a statistics, because those are not people who are like in community. Like I care about what people who are like in community are telling me, right? And that's where I feel like a lot of that guilt from people when they're like, oh, I do wish it was gay, or I wish you were doing it like this, or I wish, his body looked like this, or I wish it had this kink. Um, and uh, that's where I'm like quite weighed down, you know, is when people, it's this sort of like, it seems to be this like deep disappointment that people have that, I don't really know what they want me to like do with that again. Like, what is your intention when you tell me that you wish my stuff with a trans guy and a gal was gay? What was what is the intention there? Like, what is your wish when someone puts this comment in front of me? Is their wish that I completely redraw the exact story and I make them two men? Is their wish that I stop drawing the story and I only draw stories with two men? Is their wish that I give them a recommendation for a story with two men? What is, what do they want from this? And this is something I take seriously. Like I really want to be like in the minds of people like when they express this, because I think that it's coming from somewhere really deep, because trans porn, like, yes, even though trans gay porn is more abundant than trans het stuff, it doesn't mean that trans het porn is like abundant. It is still rare. This is the reality of it, right? But also people have really lost their ability to go and organically find stuff. And there's a few reasons for that. There's sort of like people's attention span, or they just don't have the time because they have a lot of like they got jobs and other nonsense, or they just don't know, they've lost the knowledge, or like sites have made it very difficult to find stuff. And again, that's why they like wanted. Oh, no. No one will ever commission me something for me when they're disappointed. Not how it works. I've always told people, like, you can commission me to do stuff, but the only people who commission me are people who are genuinely excited about my work. And these people who are like expressing disappointment, they are not, right? So they will never ever pay me for something. That is why I try to get their attention onto other artists, because like when they're feeling good about something, they're way more willing to fucking like engage with that, right? And it makes sense, right? Because it's like if I'm not making what you like, yeah, they don't want to fucking pay me. Duh. But if someone, if one of my like peers is making something that they like, they might pay that person to draw something, and that would be very fucking cool. And I really want them to do that, but I don't see people doing that a lot. Um Lots of people really just want the stuff they want dropped into their laps with no effort on their part. Yes, it's true. And there's many reasons for that, right? There are reasons that we can interpret that in two ways. We can do it in bad faith, we can do it in good faith, how we want to interpret that. Good faith is that people are just really busy, they've lost the ability, like the internet is sort of just against them in all ways because it is. And the bad faith is that they're just lazy and mean, but like I don't think that it's that easy. I think it's a combination of a lot of stuff. Thank you for looking at the EGO collections. They're the best. They're really such a great resource. And I want to see people like flooding the fucking market with like love and fan art for like all of the trans gay comics that are out there right now, because there's like so many. And I feel like maybe only Glow Possum is like getting that love right now because she's just such a popular like furry artist that like duh, she's gonna have everything. But I'm like, eh, people, there are so many other people who are making cool stuff. Like we run, use the use your time on them instead of me. Leave me alone. um. So that is all to say that yeah, when people express that they want my thing to be a different way, it is coming from a lot of really complicated places. So that is again why I say like this is not a call out post for people who have like said things to me or like, wanted this or that. They wanted to see like, the person who wanted to see like Dylan with like without top surgery. Like this is not like a it's not like a judgment call on like that desire or that person. It's just sort of like this is how it makes me feel, and this is maybe some solutions. you know uh and but you know what did suck is when that person on Blue Sky totally made fun of one of my extremely vulnerable fantasies about not having bottom dysphoria. Are you guys ready to talk about that? Because this one's not going to be that nice. I still don't think this person did it maliciously, but they did do it to make fun of me. That to me is very clear. Uh, so let's go into the details of this because I have not spoken about like the exact wording of this because I really do fear that someone don't look for this, guys. Do not look for this like reply. Like don't because I've left that Transhet ideas like thread up because a lot of people really did like the ideas, but I muted it entirely. Like to me, it's dead. To me, like a lot of I screenshotted those ideas for myself if I wanted to do something, but to me, it's dead in the water because I couldn't deal with it. Because I had some other people doing some stuff, like someone like fucking quote retweeted it with like a Roblox character, and I was like, no. And I had to remove it because it was just like again, it's like a 19-year-old who like went through puberty when they were playing Roblox. I deal with them all, guys. I deal with them all. Everyone who went through puberty when they liked Minecraft or Five Nights at Freddy's, and some of you are these people, by the way. I know some of you are, and I love you for it. Don't worry, I'm not here judging you. It is. If society wanted us to be normal, there'd be more Miss Bellums in cartoons, but instead all you guys got was Five Nights at Freddy's when you were going through puberty. So yeah, you want to fuck Chica or whatever. I get it. Okay? You went through puberty and you were looking at Minecraft Steve and now you want to fuck blocks. It's just how it is. If society doesn't want people to fuck blocks, you got to put Miss Bellum in cartoons and Dexter's mom. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Try to prove me wrong. Now this is where I lose people where I'm like, if you want people to be normal, there needs to be hot cartoons. But I'm not fucking wrong. Whatever you look at when you're going through puberty is gonna fucking leave a super deep impression on your sexuality. Like, that's why fucking what's the movie? Fucking Van Helsing, like 2000 and what, 4 or 6 or some shit. Like fucking redid my brain chemistry with all the fucking like sexy vampires and egg laying. That's why I'm all fucked up. So yeah, very funny. So yeah, this thread I made was like it was Transhet ideas, where it was like, here's Transhet ideas, and you guys can do whatever you want. It's one of those very typical uh like here's a sexy little idea thread, and you can just like go with it. These I've seen these around, where it's just like, here's my thoughts, have fun with them, right? And so I got some of the usual comments that I get on these, which was like, actually, this idea would be better if it was two guys. It's just like, okay, all right, do what you want. Like, that's fine. Again, no, I'm being like a brat, but like, there truly is nothing wrong with that. But I do think it's a little funny that it was like, hey, here's my trans head idea, like, like specifically for like guys and girls, like of the trans variety. And people were like, actually, it should be two dudes. And I'm like, okay, that's a choice, like, go for it. um, but that was like not the issue to me. Again, it's like I'm used to that, unfortunately. I'm used to people like, talking about my ideas, and no matter what sort of gender pairings I put together, people are like, actually, it should be a different gender pairing. That happened with my Yowie. I forgot to say that, by the way. When I was doing like Yowie on Tumblr, people used to be, I had someone who was like, my master as a Naga would be better if Klaus was like a woman. And I was like, sure. If you say so. And now I'm getting that, but on the opposite end, which, maybe that shows that society has gone like a long way. You know what I mean? Like, are gay guys mainstream now? Find out more at 12. Could be exciting. Could be cool. um, so yeah, I make this whole thread of these ideas, and one of the ideas was, there's like a very pious, like sort of priest or like paladin type trans guy, right? And this idea is like a little darker. It's a little like, like a little spookier. Um, and it he's like, he's very sort of pious. He's like virginal, and he's very like, anti-sex. He's kind of like a stuck up, like, kind of like, you like hate this guy, because he's so like committed to like religion and not fucking, you know and so a succubus comes along, and she's like, I can get you, like, I can actually get you because I can read like your thoughts, because he's holding back like all these like, fucked up like sex thoughts. Like, he's all fucked up about it, but he wants to have sex so bad, but he's like, well, I'm trans, so I don't even get the chance, right? And like, follow along with me, like just go along with this as like a pure sort of just like trans mask like fantasy, as someone who has like bottom dysphoria. Like, I need you to sort of like be taken away with me, like, on this river. Like, don't like think too hard about it. Like, think about only what I say on this, right? Like, think about my fantasy on this, right? Like, it is the fantasy of like, all of a sudden my bottom dysphoria is gone. Like, that is as simple as the fantasy is, and I have like a ton of these because I have bottom dysphoria. I don't think it's that fucking weird. Like, I thought that this was a very mundane kind of fantasy to have, and I have been learning that that is unacceptable to some people. Um, and so, so the succubus is like, I can read your thoughts. Like, I know you want sexy times. And he's like, well, I couldn't even fuck you. I couldn't even like, like, come or whatever. So like, it doesn't even matter. And she's like, yeah, are you sure? And so she like zaps a big dick on him. And then he's like overcome with how exciting that is. And then he fucks her. And like, that's the fantasy, where it's like, dude is like all messed up about sex because he's got bottom dysphoria. A sexy woman comes along, fixes the bottom dysphoria, and they bang. I didn't think this was crazy. I did not think that this was a very um I wouldn't call it controversial. Like, I thought it was just very boring. Like, I thought that this was very maybe a fantasy a lot of other people have had, because it would be great to I think the fantasy of like, your body is now changed to what you like is a very mundane and normal fantasy for trans people to have. Like, I think there are a lot of people who are like, you should just love your body how you are, and that's that, right? And that's, it is good to try to find peace with your body. I am not necessarily someone who says that you have to love your body because I am trans and I want changes to my body. I'm not, but I don't think that you need to, it is sort of bad for your brain to be agonizing about it all the time. Like, dysphoria is not fun. I don't like it. I don't take pleasure in the deep, dark, bottomless pit that gender dysphoria gives me. It's the worst thing in my fucking life. It truly is, right? But to say that I could just wash that away with like hopeful thoughts is is a lie. I know it's a lie because the only things that have given me any sort of relief are HRT and surgeries, and I plan to continue to pursue that. That is not the choice for every trans person, and that is also not the feelings of every trans person. As we've talked about on this stream, trans people are not a monolith, and they should not be thought of as a monolith either. Like everyone has like something that they want for themselves, and those things are very different and vast, and I really respect how people feel. I think it's awesome when people don't have like any body dysphoria or like gender dysphoria because it sucks. You're free. Good for you. You don't feel it? Awesome. Like, just that's awesome. If you do not have any dysphoria of any kind, you just have gender dysphoria, hell fucking yeah. But that is not my experience, right? And that's really, it's difficult for me to write on that stuff because my thoughts and feelings are so difficult. And it's a lifelong struggle. I'm amazed I could even get to this point. I never thought I could get to this point ever. That is how bad it's been for me. It's taking me like 30 fucking years. Like, and I'm not the only one who's like that, right? There I know there are people who are in my shoes about it, right? And the most important thing is to try to respect each other. Just to respect where everyone is in their journey and how they're feeling, and to try not to cross, like, I don't want to say cross the boundary, but like try not to step on each other's toes, I think is the better phrasing, where it's like, sometimes you will accidentally step on each other's toes, but I think there are certain ways that you can almost guarantee that you're not going to step on someone else's toes or sort of like enter the dysphoria zone with them, you know? And I think a good way to not do that is to not make fun of someone's fantasy that they've written online. And maybe I'm a baby for saying that, but ooh. So, to summarize again, the fantasy was paladin trans guy who's like all messed up in his head, like religious, and a succubus she can tell his like desires, so she gives him a dong and they fuck, right? That is the fantasy. This person on Blue Sky, I don't even know the username. I just know that this person is another trans person. That's as much as I'll say. And again, please don't try to find this comment. The comment was, it started out with boo. It was a long boo, booing me. Then it says slash lighthearted. So that's how I know this is supposed to be a joke, you guys. Because it's one long boo slash lighthearted. Then she said, he should just keep the pussy and the succubus should get off on his squirt. And this sucked. This sucked ass, guys. It sucked because I know why someone would say that and why someone would joke like that. Um, but that is really hard for me to deal with because I have dealt with like a lot of the like, you should just love what you have. You should just be cool with it. You should just say boy pussy and go crazy. And you should just this and that and yada yada. And it's like, why? Why should I just have to? Like, is it isn't change like part of being like trans, like transitioning? Like I know for some people maybe it's not, but I feel like for a really decent amount of people it is. Or at least for me it is. And maybe that's all that matters. Maybe that all that matters is that I want change for me. And that is enough to like validate like the fantasy, but also to validate like my feelings and to, push me on my journey, And I think that it's always been really tough when people tell me like you should just have a pussy and be proud, you know? That is it's just not that easy for me. And I'm sorry, and it's tough. It's tough that I even feel the need to say I'm sorry to people. Um because life would be easier if I could just feel that way, but I don't. I just don't, and I don't think that it's fair to expect everyone to feel that way. Because I also wonder if this person had said that on like a trans woman's fantasy where it was like sort of the genders are reversed, right? Like, would this person have said that? Would that be like acceptable? Or is it acceptable because I'm trans mask, right? Like these are the things going through my mind. Did this person think it was acceptable because it was a joke? Was it okay to say because it's porn? Was it fine to say because she was another trans person? You know, I think about that, and it hurt me. I think it hurt me a lot more that it was coming from another trans person, and also she booed me. That sucked. Uh, that sucked, dude. To just like be booed for like a genuine little thought I had, and it's already so hard to to say that stuff, you know. Um, and this person also had retweeted like a bunch of other of the ideas and was just saying stuff and was just twisting them around to their own things. And again, those are fine if you want to do that. But I think when it became about like putting down like my just a genuine like fantasy of mine, I think was where it was hard. It was really hard. And that was why I closed the thread, was because of that comment. And you can see now why I didn't, and I couldn't talk to this person either. She had turned off comments and she had turned off DMs because I was willing to be like, hey, like that really hurts, and it would be great if you could, consider maybe not doing that, right? I'm willing um to have like a conversation with people, and I think it can be really um productive to have conversations about how your fantasies are different from somebody else's fantasies and to try to come to like an understanding. But the only way I could have talked to her was to quote retweet, and I was not going to put her on blast like that. That's not fair. Even though she put me on fucking blast, that's for sure. um yeah. Yeah, a lot of people online will get really jokey with you and really lighthearted about stuff, especially if like you make porn online, because they think somehow that like you're like more open or willing, or like it's okay. I don't know, like people, it's weird. Um and Yeah, again, I'm not sure why we can't know, because I couldn't talk to this person and figure out what the fuck was going on. All I know is that it really fucking hurt. Um, and it was really hard. All right, I might play ads for a minute because I need to go to the bathroom, but first I have to figure out how to do that. Oh Lord. Yeah, I'm just sitting on that one for a minute too, because like I haven't talked to very many people about like what the comment was specifically. You know, thanks for coming, guesty guest coolness. What a username. Um, yeah, and I think I hope it's understandable why I would not, put that person on blast for this, and also, why I didn't talk about the comment specifically. And even now, I'm questioning, is it like right to sort of talk about like what this person said specifically? But I don't know. I think there are a lot of people who like, you know are asking me not to stop speaking, and then there's also kind of people who are making it hard to keep speaking. Um, and Yeah, it's I'm in a weird spot. Okay, I think we're in ads, so I'm gonna be right back. taking a second not to talk until um, everyone's back from ads because it's good for my throat. So, hi, welcome back from ads. I appreciate everyone has been so sensible in the chat today. Thank you, by the way. And I wanted to talk about a few of these. Um, and I have been reading everyone's stuff. I just haven't been reading everything like out loud. But I wanted to talk about the there are lots of like trans like transformation stuff, and like there's always been a lot of sort of trans things in the like transformation like kinkin community and stuff. Um and I think that's really interesting because I think for a long time people thought that like a lot of people with transformation kink were just sort of like, oh, they're just people with that kink or whatever. But I've discovered a lot of people, wow, can you believe it, who are into transformation stuff are trans. And I think it just took a lot of people kind of a long time to realize that because it's a fucking journey. It can take a really long time for lots of various reasons for this to happen for people. Um, and I think that I'm a part of WeChange.org, which is a website for selling like sexy little PDFs of comics and stuff. Like it was this collective of like TF artists who got together to like make their own site because of everything happening with payment processors, and so they started letting in other people. And to me, the transformation community has been really kind to me. Like this group of people, that's not always the case. Some people are really like transphobic about the transformation stuff, which I think is just so fucking bizarre because I think it's always been really tied into to transness. Just because it's transforming and a lot of that is like from gender to gender kind of transforming and stuff. But it is kind of wild to me how like acceptable a lot of that stuff was to people, and then kind of once it started to get a little bit more trans mask, a lot of people got kind of upset. And I don't know if that's because I wouldn't even know if like I would attribute that to the transformation people. I think like it didn't come like I think a lot of transformation people are used to like male to female transformations, right? But I didn't see a lot of that kickback from them necessarily, but I did see a lot of kickback from people who are like not into transformation stuff being upset at people for wanting the transformation. Like I see a lot of people who are kind of annoyed or upset when some of the fantasy of a trans thing involves like the transformation of a body. And I understand for people that they want to see their own body reflected in the porn, and I don't think that that's like a bad thing. That's why it's so good to have like diverse stories and diverse like body types and other stuff. And like it is good to have stories where like the guy just sort of is how he is, and there's no like magical intervention sort of involved. But I think that it kind of does a disservice to people to not allow folks like that fantasy, but also um surgery and HRT can bring people a lot farther than I think the average person like realizes. I think a lot of people like aren't very familiar with how like like meta surgery works, like any bottom surgery for like guys works, because it's coming a long way and it's gonna come a long way. Um, and I think in the next like 10 or 20 years, we're gonna crack some code on some of that stuff. And I think it could be really cool. But I think some people they're not like aware of that or they don't like that. There's a lot of different like thoughts and feelings, but it's getting all like mixed up with stuff. And I think again, what really frustrates me is just this idea of like it's this idea of like I don't like it, so I should express it. I don't like this like thing, so I should express that to the artist exactly, and like um it should always be like catered to me. I don't think it's wrong to want something that's like to your exact specifications, but I do question people who feel the need to like make demands of artists, let's say. That's crazy that you've seen people make fun of surgeries. That is tough to me. That is really hard. I've not even seen that. I've just seen people who are like, "Oh, this and that is like it's not possible." I've seen people who have like disbelief in stuff. So it's like when you draw like a guy with like a really big T dick, they're like, "Oh, that's not possible." But it's like it is. There's lots of possibilities actually. We're finding out the human body is like way is kind of way malleable, which I think is really cool. Um and we're just finding out like lots of different things, what's responsible for this, etc. Um if you're looking for fallow like dick references, you should check Reddit. There's a lot of Reddit, as bad as it can be, has been like quite a resource for me on a lot of this stuff. Because there's a lot of uh, subreddits specifically about surgery and specifically about like getting a bigger junk basically, that have some really interesting information, but you can also just see the wide variety of what people's bodies look like, you know. And I think that's really good. I think it's healthy to. I think it can be hard. Don't get me wrong. Um, Genital swapping surgery will not be a thing soon. Not soon at all. That is might be the stuff of actual science fiction because of the way that we already have trouble with people with organ transplants happening, but also when you're talking about like skin and other stuff, like that's going to be really difficult. At least for frankly, at least for giving the puss away to somebody. If we're talking about like the other way around, like chopping off a dong, maybe, but um, I don't know. I think that's going to be really tough. But I think in terms of like having a body like develop things or like building structures for people, I think we're gonna see some advancement in there. But that's just my speculation, you know. But yeah, I really recommend Reddit for just seeing like real people. But I understand that that can be difficult for people to like look at. But you know, baby steps. Your doctor got mad at you for wandering out loud once. That's terrible. I hate this shit, guys. This shit sucks. It's been tough. And I just like it's weird to me too because I just thought like I thought we were over it. I thought like I genuinely thought a lot of um trans people were kind of over like making a judgment call on other trans people, but I don't think that is the case. Cuz again, I cannot stress enough how much it's like it is your fucking choice to do what you like and I will support you in whatever you want to do. Like as a trans sibling to a trans sibling, um I I support you. Whatever you want to do. You want surgery, you don't want surgery, you want boobs, you don't want boobs. You want like a crazy combination? y- Hell yeah. Let's go. I love it for you, you know? And I am sad that other people cannot extend that feeling to me. I'm sad when people, you know, make a judgment call about what they think I should or shouldn't have or feel, you know? And I think that's really tough. And I just don't I want to see it happening less. I want there to be just like more support or just shut up. It would be awesome too if people just like shut up. And I know that's difficult because social media like encourages people to have an opinion about everything. But like even I could shut up more, you know? I'm pretty loud, but I like it, you know, I just I yeah, I don't know. I tried really hard to just try to be like accepting and open with people and just like not make a judgment about like their wants and stuff. So that's really tough for me when people sort of hit me back with the want or the judgment or something. Like it's Huh, yeah, I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of at like an impasse right now where I feel really quite isolated and I feel like I'm really struggling to find like a good audience for my work. I think, I have everyone here and I um really appreciate everyone who's shown up and is willing to listen. But it's tough because it's just right now I need more people to make it sustainable. So I got to find like some way to I don't know, I got to find some way to find people who are like willing or interested in Transhet to make it happen. Yeah. Yeah. What's the time? 4 o'clock? It's about the time. I might start wrapping up because I think I might have said everything I wanted to say. But also my throat is starting to act up. It's tough for me to like sit and talk for a while. I usually only do it for about 2 hours. Um, I guess I could give a summary of what we talked about. So in this stream, I made this stream because I got the question, why are you making Transhet so often? I like got the question, why are you making Transhet? Why'd you pivot to Transhet, etc. And so I spent some time on the stream just explaining that I, you know, am making it because it affirms me. I like it. I like the feeling of like a woman is seeing a trans guy as like fully a guy. I think that's really cool. And I um oh, I also clarified that het to me does not necessarily mean straight because a guy and a girl can be together and they can be queer or they can be bi, they can, it's there's quite a lot they can be. To me, het just means like a couple who's like two different genders. It's very different from like straight, as in like, straight as in like the societal straight. Like that is not like what I'm engaging with, in my opinion. But I am engaging with stuff that's het, which is two different genders. And that's why I left it sort of open on my trans het jam because there are some people who are non binary who date men who still consider themselves to be het because it's two different genders. And like, that's fine. As time goes on, we're going to see language change and evolve. We're going to see people trying stuff. Some of that stuff will work, some of it won't. The what we call trans het could be called something different in a little while, and that's fine. We're just talking about it in the terms that we know how to talk about it right now. Um, and then I also just talked about, yeah, why it affirms me, how it just makes me feel great, and I just like it's sort of part of my healing process and part of like my journey and stuff. And then I talked about just the fallout of a lot of this, where it's been difficult to balance the really positive comments and then dealing with the people who are disappointed in me, and trying to just figure out where I'm going from here. Alder snap, I wouldn't worry about that, um, the pronoun thing because uh, I'm the mod, so I'm the one who makes the decision on what is and isn't in the jam. But also, there's been a few things that are like sort of um a little more queer, a little more this and that like in the jam, and it's fine. you know my sort of rule is like, as long as you think it's trans het and it's got like romance and stuff in it and characters of two different genders, then I'm good with it. I'm not really gonna I'm not here to be a cop. you know I just want people to like explore the idea and to like just do some stuff and sort of just make something a little different, see how they feel. That's what's the most important to me in terms of like that jam. So yeah, don't worry about it. Everyone make some stuff for the Trans Het Jam. It's still ongoing. Goes until the end of March, I believe. Oh god, we got ads. So I'll wrap it up after ads. My throat is just bothering me so much. It must be my affliction. I can feel it. I can feel the gunk. I also check for submissions every day for the Transhet Jam because I love it, and I'm excited for some of the ones that are coming up. Um, and also everyone go read all the stuff that's in the Transhet Jam so far because it's good. I realize most of you can't hear me because of the ads, but my God, my little throat. But yeah, I appreciate that everyone has. I was worried because I really thought there were gonna be some people in chat who were like not cool, or who were being like too this way or the other, you know. Um, but it's I appreciate that there are so many people following me who are really thoughtful and who are like willing to be flexible and to think some things through and to um you know just have an open mind. I think it's really important to like uh be willing to like change your mind and stuff. And I'm sure my thoughts on things will change in the future as well. And all we can do is our best and to try not to be mean to each other. So yeah, this is your reminder not to fucking take someone's little trans fantasy post on Blue Sky and then to make fun of them. Maybe that's what it's all about. That's what this not supposed to be what this stream was about. This thing hadn't even happened before I uh had decided to do the stream. This is a very recent development, but God, it just was so bad. Um so yeah, everyone, be nice to each other, be fucking supportive, be thoughtful with what you say. And yeah, go support some trans artists who make you feel good. Let them know that their work is really good because you want to give people their flowers while they're still here. Because trans artists are so vulnerable right now, and a lot of them don't have support. A lot of them don't even know that people are reading their work. So if there's like a comic that you've read before and never let the person know, then let them know, you know, and share their work where you can. And yeah, be kind to each other. Call your reps. Tell them to abolish ICE. Keep up the good fight. Do what you can. And also read Rose Princess. We just released chapter 4 yesterday. It's out. That's the comic I'm working on right now. Is a little something with Fox and Rose. Though I barely draw when I'm talking, but I can't also have the camera on because I found out it makes me too nervous so far. So I'm working on it. Um, and yeah, Moonlit Vow is like right around the corner, you guys. It's fucking right around the corner. And that is fucking it's gonna be good. It's gonna be very good. And I appreciate any support on that. Like, and I mean beyond like just buying it. Like, if you can just tell people that it's a thing, if you can share the post on Blue Sky, like comment on like Reddit and stuff. Oh, thank you for making a Twitch account to watch. Yeah, I've been trying to do maybe streams about like once a month or so if I have things to talk about because frankly, I need revenue sources because payment processors have made selling my porn so hard. So the tiny amount that I make from subscriptions and like ads and stuff, like just help me to continue to make stuff. Um, yeah, and so thank you. And I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight. I'm gonna do what I can do. If I don't know what I'm gonna do on Blue Sky about like talking about this stuff. I don't know if I'll make another thread or what. I might just stay in my lane for a minute and just sort of talk about my own stories and how those relate and just try not to think about people's reactions too much. I don't know. It's tough because even when I'm posting like good pup, like that's when people just feel the need to say something that's like off the cuff. But it's fine. I got to keep in mind that they're like, a lot of these people are not haters, Drew. That's the thing. They're really not. And I can't stress that enough. Is like I have very few like genuine haters. These are people who are just how to just they're just sort of they're aimless wanting masses who have not been given what they need, and that I can't fault them for that, but it does feel bad. And I will just have to learn to deal with that, I guess, if I plan to keep posting my work online, or I just have to hope that the folks who I disappoint will choose to finally unfollow me, because they're if my work does not serve you anymore, then it's okay to just walk away, but I really do hope that there I can find people who give my work a chance and who can love it, because I fucking think it's really quite good. um yeah, yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give my voice a rest. um and thank you all for coming and listening. I'll try to have like a VOD up for this at some point. Hopefully Twitch does not hate me because I said too many naughty words. Oh, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Um, but yeah, I'll be posting stuff. I might appear in my partner's stream a little bit today. Niku Tsune, if because Niku's gonna be playing Prop Hunt and I might join them. Like TF2 Prop Hunt. You know TF2 Prop Hunt? Yeah, I might play that with them on the stream. I'm not sure. We'll see. But if that's something that you are interested in, my partner streams all the time. They're really great. They're really thoughtful. I love them. Um, they're the best. And yeah, I'm gonna see about that. But yeah, for now, this is about as long as I wanted to stream. And I appreciate it to everyone. And if any VOD viewers are watching, please don't kill me. No one kill me, please. I want to live. Please take me with good faith and kindness in your heart. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. Have a great day. Bye bye. Well, as good as it can be, with all this shit. Fucking call your representatives. And yeah, I'll see you later for the next one. Bye.